There are Ebola patients on 3 continents tonight: Africa, North America, and now Europe. A nurse in Spain has contracted the disease. It's the first known transmission of Ebola outside of West Africa during this outbreak. And that's just one of several developments today on this global story. Kelly Crow has our update.
The first known transmission of the Ebola virus outside West Africa happened in Madrid. A nurse, now in isolation, caught the virus in her hospital after caring for a Spanish priest and a missionary who were infected in West Africa. Both victims were transported back to Spain for treatment. Both died from their infection. The nurse developed symptoms 6 days ago, but was admitted to hospital only yesterday. Spanish health officials are tracking down dozens of contacts. It's the latest evidence of the virus on the move. Last week, Ebola landed in the U.S. after an infected Liberian man flew to Texas to visit family. Thomas Duncan remains in a Dallas hospital in critical condition. Today, he received an experimental antiviral drug that has only ever been tested on animals. Also today, the 5th U.S. citizen to be infected in Africa was flown home for treatment. Freelance cameraman Ashoka Mukpo walked off the plane.
He's enormously relieved to be here. Of course, it's still quite frightening, but he's hanging in and he sounds very strong.
Mukpo was living in Liberia and working for NBC News when he somehow became infected.
He was filming inside the clinic and around the clinic, so he had a lot of opportunity to be exposed. He does remember one instance where he was helping spray wash a vehicle with chlorine, and he thinks he might have been splashed, but honestly, he's not exactly certain.
Although survivors are being celebrated in this ceremony in Sierra Leone, yesterday the country had one of its deadliest days so far. 121 deaths and dozens of new infections. And calls for help are becoming increasingly urgent.
We need at least 1,000 beds.
Today, Canada shipped the first load of promised protective equipment. 128,000 face shields were loaded on a military plane headed for Sierra Leone.
Today's shipment is less than half of the 300,000 face shields the World Health Organization has urgently requested. Ottawa says the remaining face shields will be sent sometime within the next week. The rest of the personal protective equipment Canada has promised will follow at some point, although no date has been specified yet. Kelly Crow, CBC News, Toronto.